On the day I got married, my girlfriend's aunt committed suicide, but before she died, she left a will, giving all her assets to me, asking nothing in return. While cleaning up her belongings, people found a diary filled with words of love for me. Since the one who brings you happiness isn't me, then I will give you a lifetime free of worries about food and clothing. Only then did I know the reason she never married her whole life. It turned out the person she was waiting for was me, reborn into another life. The first thing I did was kneel down in front of my parents. Mom, Dad, regarding the marriage with the Shen family, I choose to marry Shen Qingmo. Suddenly hearing me make this request, they were both extremely shocked. Shang Yan, don't you like Yui? Qingmo is Yui's aunt? My eyes shifted slightly with a hint of sorrow in my voice, exactly because I know the consequences of liking her, so I don't dare to like her anymore. In my previous life, Shen Yui and I were childhood friends who grew up together. After growing up, hearing our parents mention the marriage between our two families, remembering the years Shen Yui treated me, taking good and meticulous care of me, I chose her without hesitation. But after hearing this news, her attitude towards me gradually changed, from angry to cold, ultimately becoming disgusted. I didn't understand the reason, but I still chose to marry her, thinking that things would gradually get better after marriage. But even after our children were born, I still found in Shen Yui's books tens of thousands of photos of Ye Chen that she carefully kept. At that moment, I finally knew the person she really liked was the son of her family's butler. They just couldn't be together because of the class difference. 2 years after she got married, Ye Chen also married someone else, but his marital relationship was never harmonious. Because of this, she got drunk every day, feeling sad for him. And the day Yi Chen's wife died in a car accident was the happiest day of her life. I saw all of this. My heart was extremely pained, but I could only force myself not to care, wholeheartedly raising our daughter, until a kidnapping that involved my daughter and Yi Chen's son. The kidnappers asked Shen Yui to choose. She could only save one person. She only hesitated for a few seconds and chose the boy who had no blood relation to her. The next second, our daughter was pushed from a high place and fell to her death, witnessing it all with my own eyes. I collapsed on the spot and jumped down from the high place as well, now reborn into another life. I don't want to torture myself anymore. I just want to draw a clear line with Shen Yui. My parents couldn't sway me, so they just nodded and hurriedly went to the Shen family to discuss changing the person. And after they left, my phone also received a message. It was a message from Shen Yui. Yisi Bar, come right now. I also wanted to take this opportunity to clarify the matter of changing the marriage partner, so I went there. As a result, just as I pushed open the private room door, a bucket of cold water was splashed right into my face, soaking me completely. The cold pierced my skin. I couldn't help but shiver. Mocking laughter rang in my ears from all around. Isn't this the eldest young master of the Shang family? Why are you as wet as a drowned rat? Serves him right. Who told him to follow Sister Yui every day? This is the result for an ignorant follower. Shen Yui walked up to me with a cold face. Her eyes were gloomy. Are you that eager to marry me? The marriage was just a rumor. You hastily told your parents to come to my house to discuss marriage, making the whole city know about it. Now everyone in our circle knows that you and I are getting married. Are you satisfied now? I knew she had misunderstood. I wiped the water off my face, brushed aside the wet hair sticking to my forehead, and looked at her calmly. The marriage between the Shang and Shen families has already been decided. Discussing it at anyone's house is the same. You don't need to worry because this matter has nothing to do with you. Shen Yu. We froze for a moment, then sneered out loud. Nothing to do with me? Don't tell me the person you're marrying isn't me? Ridiculous. Besides me and the Shen family, who else can marry you? I was just about to speak. The half-closed door was pushed open. Ye Chen rushed in and saw this scene, with tears in his eyes. Sister Yue, I heard you're getting married. I came here specifically to wish you happiness, wishing you and the eldest young master of the Shang family a perfect marriage and to grow old together. Saying that, he rushed out with red eyes, leaving only a faint sound of crying. Ye Chen Shen Yui. I immediately became anxious, pushed me, who was blocking her way aside, and chased after him. I was pushed onto the tea table. My forehead hit it, creating a wound. Fresh blood streamed down, looking extremely terrifying. The people in the private room were still, laughing and making sarcastic remarks. Forced love never lasts, Sister Yu. We doesn't want to marry someone, so what if they get married? By then, if Sister Yue doesn't come home, a certain follower will just have to stay at home and complain. My phone rang amidst the mockery. I picked up my phone to look. It was a message from my parents. Shang Yan. Qingmo agreed. The wedding will be held in half a month. My parents have always been calm, but there were 3 exclamation marks in this message, enough to show how surprised and excited they were about Shen Qingmo agreeing to the marriage. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. I struggled to stand up, looked towards the crowd watching the joke, with an unprecedentedly firm gaze. Whether I'll be happy after getting married is none of your concern, and it has nothing to do with Shen Yui either. Please pass a message to her. I'm getting married in half a month. The bride is absolutely not her. After returning home, I took everything related to Shen Yui, cleaned it all up, and sealed it in boxes. My parents were stunned when they came back and saw this scene. Shangyan, have you really let go of Yui and don't like her anymore? Shang's parents felt relieved, smiling and saying, that's good then. Qingmo is busy abroad. Today the Shen family and we had a video call with her and finalized the marriage. Compared to Yue, Qingmo is calm and elegant. She really suits you better. It's just that her reputation is prominent. It's a bit out of our league. We didn't even dare to think about her. We originally thought she wouldn't agree. We didn't expect her to agree so quickly. My eyes immediately reddened. When I first made up my mind, I already knew Shen Qingmo would agree. In my previous life, due to the difference in our generation status, descendants of prominent families were all a bit intimidated by her. I was no exception, so I rarely interacted with her, other than family banquets. We almost never met. I only knew she was dedicated to her work, single-handedly building a top-tier business empire, but she always remained unmarried until she was 35 years old. She committed suicide and passed away. When sorting out her belongings, a stack of love letters was found in her bedroom. On each letter it said to a Xing. No one in the Xin family knew who they were written for. Only I knew the day I was born. The sky was full of stars. A Xing means a sky full of stars. It was a nickname given to me by my closest elders. I never thought that this powerful woman who seemed completely unattainable had secretly loved me all her life. Now that God has given me a chance to start over, I am willing to give us both a chance. While I was lost in thought, my parents took out a gift box and handed it to me with a joyful tone. Shangyan, tomorrow is your birthday. Qingmo couldn't make it back in time. She asked her assistant to get a gift from the study. See if you like it. I opened the gift box. A magnificent, dazzling watch appeared before my eyes. This is the most expensive watch in nearly 50 years, from Sotheby's auction house named Plucking Stars. I was lucky enough to see it once, and it's still unforgettable to this day. I didn't expect Shen Qingmo to send such a priceless gift. For a moment, waves of warmth surged in my heart. In my previous life, ever since the rumor of our marriage, Shen Yue never gave me a single gift again. I had forgotten the feeling of receiving a gift from the person I love. What it was really like. The next day, the birthday party of the eldest young master of the Shang family started exactly at 7 p.m. The venue was the most luxurious hotel. The guests sequentially sent their blessings. Shangyan, the marriage has been decided. The heavy burden in my heart has been lifted. So a smile also bloomed on my face until the middle of the banquet. A commotion spread through the crowd. Everyone looked towards the door in unison. I also followed everyone's gaze only to see that Shen Yui actually brought Yi Chen to attend my birthday party. And this wasn't even the most outrageous part. The most outrageous part was Shen Yui's group of friends. They conspicuously carried a giant sign towards me. Right in the middle of the sign were 4 large words, being a whore yet erecting a monument. Below it also said for Shangyan. The guests crowded around to watch the drama, whispering to each other, discussing animatedly. My face immediately turned pale. I clenched my fists tightly, staring fixedly at the troublemakers in front of me with an ice-cold tone. What do you mean by this? They sneered at me, deliberately speaking loudly. You should ask yourself about this. Didn't you say yesterday that Sister Yue isn't the bride? Then why did Sister Yue find out her family was preparing for the wedding as soon as she got home? This playing hard to get trick of yours? Who could play it better than you, the eldest young master of the Shang family? I think these words are extremely fitting. I said yesterday he was just acting tough. He's been pursuing Sister Yue for so many years. Who doesn't know he pursued her to the point of losing his self-respect? Now suddenly saying he doesn't like her and won't marry her. It's nothing but a stalling tactic. The only one in the Xin family of the same generation as you is. Sister Yue, if you don't marry her, who else would you marry? Roars of laughter instantly erupted in the hall. Shen Yue also looked at Shangyan with a cold face. Stop acting like a whore yet, trying to erect a monument, and don't even think about trying to attract my attention. After we get married in the future, other than the title of my official husband, I won't give you anything else. I had also heard her say this sentence in my previous life. She indeed wasn't lying. Married for 7 years, other than the title, I truly had nothing. Everyone around hearing these words discussed it animatedly. Shangyan's face immediately turned pale. Taking a deep breath, said loudly, Shen Yue, I don't need you to give me a title. Listen to me clearly. The person I'm marrying is not you, nor is it someone of the same generation, but it's your. Before that name could even be spoken, it was interrupted by an unexpected incident. Ye Chen suddenly covered his nose. His face was covered in red rashes with red eyes. He collapsed onto Shen Yui's shoulder. Sister Yue, I'm so itchy. Why are there so many hyacinths here? I'm allergic to hyacinths. Hyacinths are my favorite flowers, so in the hall, everywhere, was decorated with this type of flower. Hearing the increasingly rapid breathing of the person in her arms, Shen Yue looked anxious, constantly calling Yi Chen's name. Finally, she directly had someone take him to the hospital, leaving only 2 sentences behind in the end. 1 sentence for Shangyan. After we get married in the future, you are not allowed to plant or display hyacinths anywhere. And 1 sentence for her friends. After I leave, smash this banquet hall for me. Okay, Sister Yue? Guaranteed to complete the mission. As soon as the words fell, a group of people acted like robbers, grabbed tables and chairs and started smashing things everywhere. The birthday cake was smashed on the ground. Shards of glasses scattered everywhere. Fresh flowers were trampled by dodging guests. Stop what gives you the right to smash up my birthday party? Stop? You're going to marry Sister Yui soon. You listen to your wife so much. So of course whatever Sister Yui says goes. Ha ha ha. Even if I screamed myself hoarse, I couldn't stop this brutal act. Instead, I received countless mocking remarks. Eventually all the guests left. My birthday also ended in a mess. In the following days, I locked myself in my room with red eyes. I didn't step out the front gate, nor did I step out the back door. After Shang's parents found out about the ridiculous things Shen Yui did, they felt even more fortunate not letting their son marry. Her was the right decision. They even clamored to go to the Shen family, but were stopped by me, who had just come out of the room after a few days. The wedding is approaching. I don't want to cause any more trouble. After talking my parents out of it, I took a design blueprint and went out. The reason I locked myself up these past few days wasn't because I was bothered by Shen Yue. To me, she is already an irrelevant person. I was in the room to personally design a wedding ring for Shen Qingmo. I know plucking stars is extraordinarily valuable, so I secretly thought of using this sincerity to repay her deep affection. I gave the blueprint to the butler, asking him to find a master to personally carve and craft it. But waiting until the agreed deadline passed, the wedding ring still hadn't been delivered, so I went to ask, only to find out that Shen Yue came to choose jewelry a few days ago, and she instantly took a liking to this ring. After asking around a bit, she directly took it away, leaving only one sentence behind. It's for me anyway. No need to call Shang Yan to come get it. The staff also knew about the marriage between the Shang and Shen families, so they didn't stop her. My heart instantly sank to the bottom. I hurriedly ran to the Shen family to find Shen Yue, wanting to get the ring back. As a result, as soon as I entered the door, I saw Yi Chen sitting in front of a pile of packages. Miss, you secretly paid for my entire shopping cart behind my back again? You treat me so well. How can I ever repay you? As long as I'm happy, you don't need to repay me. Also, I've told you several times already, you are not allowed to call me Miss from now on. Only then did Yi Chen obediently call her Yue. Seeing their flirtatious behavior, I didn't blink an eye and quickly stepped through the door. Hearing the footsteps, Shen Yue turned around and saw me. She frowned. What are you doing here? Give me back the wedding ring you took. Looking at my outstretched hand, Shen Yue raised an eyebrow. It's lost. My gaze froze. My tone also became a bit heavier. What do you mean it's lost? While Shen Yue was still thinking of an excuse, Yi Chen, sitting on the ground, timidly spoke up. Mr. Shang, I saw on the internet that a wedding ring is the easiest way to open packages, so I used it to open a few hundred packages. Now the ring is completely scratched up. Do you still want it? He opened his palm. The battered ring appeared before my eyes. Shen Yu, we actually took my wedding ring and gave it to Yi Chen to open packages. The anger in my heart flared up, quickly spreading throughout my entire body. I angrily glared at the two of them with bloodshot eyes. In front of the completely unbothered Shen Yui, what gives you the right to take my belongings without permission? Yi Chen, what gives you the right to trample on it like this? Do you two not know how to spell the word respect? Shen Yue was annoyed by my behavior with an impatient tone. This wedding ring was originally given to you by me. What are you arguing about here? Oh, right. I also decided to just register the marriage and not hold a wedding, so designing a wedding ring is useless anyway. No need to waste your effort. I clenched my fists tightly, declaring it one more time. Shen Yue, this wedding ring is not for you, not for me. Then who else could it be for? Shang Yan, enough is enough. You're overacting too much, Shen Yue retorted, casually throwing the ring away and pulling Yi Chen outside. Don't bother with him. It's a waste of time, Yi Chen. Didn't you say you wanted to learn how to drive a few days ago? Come here, I'll teach you. Looking at their retreating backs, anger and unwillingness surged in my heart. I wanted to chase after them, but I couldn't split myself in two. I could only squat down and search for the ring first. Half an hour later, I found it in the flower bed. Carefully put it in my pocket. Without hesitating for a moment, I turned and left. It's too late to remake it now. I can only find someone to repair it, to see if it can be restored to its original state. Just as I walked out of the villa, a strange noise came, and I looked up. A car came rushing straight at me. My eyes suddenly widened. With a loud crash, I was hit and thrown 10 meters away, falling into a pool of blood. Yi Chen, who was driving, pretended to be terrified, crying as he got out of the car. Oh no, I just learned how to drive. I accidentally stepped on the gas instead of the brake. I've caused a disaster this time. Mr. Shang is bleeding so much. Yue, will something happen to him? Seeing the stone steps dyed red with blood, Shen Yue frowned, hugged Yi Chen into her arms, and gently comforted him. It's okay. He has always liked to pretend to be pitiful. Now he's just acting. No need to care. He'll wake up on his own when he can't keep acting anymore, Yi Chen. Don't be afraid and don't cry. Hearing these words in a daze, I just felt my whole body turn freezing cold. Tears uncontrollably flowed down. Shen Yue, I originally thought that, even if you didn't like me, but we were childhood friends for so many years, you would at least have a little bit of affection for me. As a result, just to coax Yi Chen, you could completely disregard my life. Why did I ever like you in my previous life? I struggled to call for help just as I grabbed my phone. The strength in my body was exhausted. Darkness descended, completely swallowing me up. Opening my eyes again, it was already the next day. The doctor walked in holding the medical records and said in a deep voice, "Why weren't you brought in for emergency treatment in time after the car accident? You just had to bleed so much before being brought to the hospital. Are you guys playing a joke?" Remembering the scene before I fell into a coma, I moved my lips, but only let out a bitter laugh. Not knowing how to answer, the doctor didn't ask further and just continued saying, "Where is your wife? Tell her to do the admission procedures for you. The anesthesia hasn't worn off yet." I unconsciously blurted out, "Abroad?" As soon as the words fell, the hospital room door was pushed open. Shin Yue walked in, staring at me intently. "Who is abroad? Isn't she right here? You signed the surgical consent form, so you must be his wife. Wait, didn't I tell you that while the patient is in a coma, you must be on standby 24/7? Why did you suddenly disappear?" "Luckily nothing happened, so you go do the procedures," the doctor said as he tore off the admission slip and handed to her, then left the hospital room. "She is not my wife." Seeing the doctor had gone far, I was still explaining. For some reason, Shen Yue felt a bit uncomfortable inside. "All right, I've brought you to the hospital. Are you still going to play hard to get?" "Enough is enough." She gently placed the bag in her hand on the table. Her eyes met the gauze wrapped around my head. Her tone unconsciously softened a bit. "It's still hot. Eat it while it's hot." I looked at that familiar logo and couldn't help but freeze. In the past, whenever I was sick, I couldn't eat anything. Shen Yue would always go out of her way, traveling dozens of miles and queuing for a long time just to buy red bean cakes from this shop to cheer me up. But whether in my past life or this one, ever since she found out about the arranged marriage, she had never been this gentle again. Looking at the steam rising from the bag, I didn't make a move. I slowly closed my eyes. The next second, I heard Shen Yui's voice carrying a bit of hesitation. "About yesterday, Ye Chen didn't mean it. Don't make a fuss with him." Turns out she was still doing it for Ye Chen. I opened my eyes again and laughed until tears fell. Shen Yue. He intentionally caused injury. I will definitely call the police to make him receive his due punishment. Shen Yue's face immediately froze, showing some anger. "I bought you food and even apologized on his behalf, Shang Yan. Don't push your luck." Seeing her quickly unable to keep up the act, I chuckled again. I looked at her with red eyes, as if confronting her in silence. I don't know how long passed. Shen Yue rubbed her glabella and let out a heavy sigh. "If that's the case, let's both take a step back. You're making such a fuss. Isn't it just because you want me to marry you? In that case, I'll give you a wedding. The wedding our two families are preparing, the wedding you've always dreamed of. I will attend it. Are you satisfied now?" Looking at her enduring expression, I lowered my eyes as past memories rushed back to my mind. In our past life's wedding, Shen Yue didn't attend. She hated me and hated this wedding. Now she agrees, but it's still for Ye Chen. Thinking back, although she didn't like me, she still married me, mostly because she was pressured by the family. After all, Ye Chen was her only weakness and just a butler's son, very easy to control. There was no fear of him disobeying. But in this life, I will absolutely not repeat the same mistakes, so I bluntly said there was no need. "The bride isn't you anyway. Whether you go or not doesn't matter." Shen Yue was completely enraged by me. Just as she was about to lash out, her phone rang again. Seeing the two words Ye Chen, she ignored everything else and simply turned and left. Watching the door slowly close, I grabbed my phone and called 113 to report to the police. After I clearly explained the whole situation, I received an unexpected piece of news. "Mr. Shang, we are very sorry. This accident was just an unintended incident. Your fiancé signed a waiver on the spot. We cannot file a case." Hearing this result, I just felt a lump of anger stuck in my chest, unable to swallow it or spit it out. I suddenly smashed my phone against the wall. The pain spread from my limbs straight to my heart. Finally, I couldn't hold it back anymore, and sobbed alone in the empty hospital room. For the next few days, Shen Yue came to the hospital almost every day, bringing fruits and nourishing soup. She even invited several doctors for a consultation. My emotions had stabilized, but I treated her like air. Seeing my cold demeanor, she also panicked a bit, not knowing what trick I was playing again, but thinking that I was a patient, she could only try to endure it. Until the day I was discharged, I absolutely refused to get into her car. She couldn't suppress her inner frustration anymore, and questioned me. "I've already compromised. How long are you going to keep making a scene? If you keep playing games, aren't you afraid I'll drop everything and not marry you?" I knew no matter how much I explained, she wouldn't believe it, so I simply lowered my head and pretended not to hear. In Shin Yue's eyes, this meant I had softened. Her mood then slowly improved, and her tone became much gentler. "Don't make a fuss anymore in the future. My aunt is coming back today. I'll take you to the family dinner. She is the head of the Shin family tonight. In front of the whole family, she will announce our arranged marriage. I've already promised you, so I will definitely attend. When the time comes, I'll give you a grand wedding. You'll definitely be satisfied, right?" Only then did I look up at her, and in the cold tone from the past few days, there was a hint of joy. Your aunt has returned to the country? Seeing me return to normal, Shen Yui smirked, looking like she understood perfectly. Yes, are you in such a rush to marry me? Rest assured, I will attend the wedding. Don't play any more tricks later on. Playing hard to get works once or twice, but too much and I'll get bored of it, Shen Yui said while opening the car door. I knew she wouldn't listen even if I explained, so I didn't bother to. After getting ready, the two of us returned to the Shen family's old estate. There were many guests at the banquet. They weren't surprised to see me and greeted me one by one. I returned their greetings individually, then sat in a corner waiting for Shen Qingmo to appear. Not knowing how the reunion would play out, I was absent-minded the whole evening. My heart was pounding like a war drum. Shen Yue quickly noticed something was off and looked at me unhappily. I'm already here? What are you spacing out for? I'm warning you for the last time. I've already agreed to marry you. He tremblingly stepped onto the stage and publicly announced. Before leaving, Qingmo had a minor car accident and missed her flight. She is still abroad and won't be attending today's banquet. Hearing the news, I suddenly stood up, my tone tense. Grandpa Shen, how is she? Is it serious? Shen Leoye waved his hand reassuringly. She's fine. It won't delay the main event. Rest assured, Sheng Yan. Shen Yui frowned and pulled me down to sit, lecturing me in a low voice. Although the arranged marriage is set, you haven't entered the Shen family yet. Trying to show off your status by acting so concerned about my aunt like this, it's inappropriate. I couldn't hold it back anymore, and was just about to speak bluntly. Shen Leoye let out a cough, and the entire hall fell silent. Gathering everyone today is mainly to announce the marriage between the Shang and Shen families. The wedding date is set for 7 days from now. The venue is Nanping Villa. The subjects of the marriage, one is the young master of the Shang family, Shang Yan. Shen Laoye's voice rang like a bell. Shen Yue received a message from Ye Chen. Her face changed, and she hurriedly stood up and left. She didn't hear the rest. The other is the head of our Shen family, Shen Qingmo. This unexpected choice made the entire hall erupt. Whispers broke out endlessly. Did I hear that right? Qingmo and not Yue? Right. Why is it Qingmo? Isn't the family head known to stay away from men? Why would she marry a brat? The chatter almost threw the whole hall into an uproar. Out of respect for Shen Qingmo's status, although shocked, they didn't dare say much. They took turns sending their blessings to me, who stood up to return the gesture. After the banquet ended, I still couldn't get the accident off my mind and purposely went to see Shen Laoye. Shen Laoye patted my shoulder with the joyful expression. Qingmo already sent a photo. I've seen it. It's just a minor injury. She'll recover quickly. Shang Yan, just focus on the preparations with peace of mind. Hearing these words, I was finally reassured. For the next 2 or 3 days, I stayed home preparing invitations, wedding attire, and other items, paying no attention to outside matters. During that time, I received quite a few messages from Shen Yui's friends. I didn't open a single one. Until one day before resting, I accidentally clicked on them, only to find they were all talking about the same thing. Yue is injured and hospitalized. At the city center hospital, room 609. Aren't you coming to see her? Remember to bring some chicken soup that Yue likes. What do you mean by not replying to our messages? Still playing this old, tired, hard-to-get game? Is there no end to this? Shang Yan, what are you doing? Hurry up and come over here. I just found it amusing. I spent a few seconds typing a reply. Shen Yue has nurses for her accident. She has you guys and also Yi Chen. What does it have to do with me? After successfully sending the message, I opened Moments. It was full of hospital selfies of Shen Yue. In my memory, she almost never updated her Moments. After seeing it, I was slightly surprised, but didn't take it to heart. I took a glance and exited. I asked the Shen family servants many things about Shen Qingmo, learning that Shen Qingmo liked to eat fish. The next day I went straight to my family's fish pond, intending to catch a few fish to practice my cooking, to cook for her later. Just as I picked a fish I liked, and turned around, I saw Yi Chen, who had entered at some unknown time, walking toward me. Yi Chen twisted his fingers, looking extremely innocent. Mr. Shang, is it because Yue fought with others to protect me and got her hand injured, that you are angry? It's all my fault. If you want to blame someone, just blame me. I know you're her fiancé. I'm just a butler's son. I don't deserve her putting so much thought into me. Hearing his hypocritical words, I frowned and turned to leave. Ye Chen grabbed my hand instead, and to my bewildered gaze, gave a provocative smile. Before I could figure out why his attitude suddenly changed, I saw him raise his hand and slap himself several times, crying miserably. Mr. Shang, I'll take your beating and scolding. Just please don't be angry at Miss Yue anymore. As long as you go visit her, no matter how you treat me, I absolutely won't fight back. Seeing his abnormal behavior, my eyelids twitched, realizing something was wrong. I tried to pull my hand back and leave, only to see an angry Shen Yue rushing in with a group of people tightly surrounding the two of us. Shang Yan, why did you hit Yi Chen? I already agreed to have the wedding with you. Don't push your luck. I looked at her coldly. I didn't hit him. There's a security camera right over there. Go see for yourself. Having said that, I was about to leave. I didn't expect Shen Yue, whose anger had clouded her mind, to glare at me, not listening to a single word. Her voice was ice cold. I used to think you just had a rich boy's arrogant temper, but looking at it now, you're truly beyond saving. After speaking, she outright let her friends hold me back, then pulled Yi Chen's hand. Yi Chen, I won't allow you to suffer any grievances, hit him back. At first, Yi Chen choked up and said he didn't dare to, but when everyone cheered and backed him up, he stopped pretending and slapped me hard with all his might. With a smack, my cheeks swelled up. My unhealed forehead also started bleeding. A burning pain spread along my nerves. The slap made my ears ring. Yi Chen, taking advantage of when no one was looking, pushed me, who hadn't recovered my senses yet, into the pond, and then pretended kindly to want to save me. Shen Yue gave a cold glance and led her people straight away. Leave him be. Water this shallow. Won't drown him. I struggled in the water for a long time, exhausted before I was discovered and pulled up by someone. After going home, I got a high fever that very night. By the next day, the fever still hadn't broken. I had many dreams about the past, the corners of my eyes wet with tears, muttering nonsense. I feel so sick. Yue, didn't you go buy red bean cakes for me? Why aren't you back yet? It's my fault. I'm sorry. Yue, I promise I will never hide the love letters from other boys to you again. Shen Yue, who was just pushing the door open and heard these words, froze at first. Recalling the times I tagged along behind her, and she also happily pampered me, she couldn't help but soften a bit. Things were fine. How did it end up like this? If you hadn't forced the marriage, I would have treated you like a little brother for life. Hearing this line while in a daze, I woke up immediately. As soon as I opened my eyes, Shen Yue reverted to her disdainful attitude from the past few days. Her voice dropped. Grandpa heard you were sick and insisted I come see you. Don't flatter yourself. I was forced. Otherwise, I absolutely wouldn't have come. The next second, Yi Chen walked in timidly and clumsily started apologizing. Mr. Shang, about yesterday, it was my fault. Please forgive me. I got slapped for no reason and was pushed into the pond. I had only just started to recover a bit, but didn't have the energy to argue anymore. I staggeringly propped myself up, intending to kick them out. Then I saw Yi Chen staring intently at my neck. I unconsciously touched my neck. There was a necklace there, which Shen Yue had given me on my coming-of-age ceremony. Shen Yue naturally noticed it too. She knew this necklace was very important to me. Her eyes darkened slightly. Yi Chen, when I get back, I'll custom order another one for you. Before she finished speaking, I outright ripped the necklace off and threw it over. Then I forced myself to get up, grabbed the box I had packed earlier, and brought it in front of Shen Yue. Looking at my cold actions, Shen Yue's heart suddenly tightened. What do you mean? I'm getting married soon? If my future wife sees the things you gave me before, she'll misunderstand. Shen Yue, I'm giving them all back to you. From now on, we have no relation whatsoever, I said softly, shoving the box into her arms. Shen Yue's face darkened, and with one swipe, she knocked over the things in the box. She glared at me. You were the one who hit Yi Chen first, and now you're pulling this stunt? Isn't your future wife me? And you say we have no relation. Let's see if you can keep pretending on our wedding day. After speaking, she pulled Yi Chen and turned to leave. I looked at the mess on the floor, chuckled, and gently called a servant. Throw all this junk into the trash. One day before the wedding, I received a message. It only had one sentence. I'm back, see you tomorrow. There was no signature, there was no contact name, but I knew it was Shen Qingmo. My wavering heart immediately settled down. I slept unusually well that night. At 10 a.m. the next day, the Shen family's bridal procession arrived at the Shang family's estate. There were also cameras following behind. This wealthy family's arranged marriage would be broadcast live to the public. Shen Yue opened the car door and went upstairs. Seeing Shang Yan in a white suit, a flash of surprise crossed her eyes. For some reason, she kept feeling this scene was strangely familiar. After being dazed for a moment, the person next to her reminded her, and only then did she reach her hand out to me. But I didn't take it. I just looked at her calmly, my tone indifferent. Shen Yue, you've come to the wrong place. You should go to the guest seats. Shen Yue's face immediately fell. Starting again, are we? Don't you know today's wedding is fully live-streamed? Do you really have to keep making a scene, losing all the face of both families? I didn't argue anymore and went downstairs alone. Shen Yue's empty hands suddenly clenched tight. She took a deep breath, suppressed her emotions, and followed behind me. Just as she was about to sit in the back seat of the wedding car, her phone rang. 1 minute later, she closed the car door and looked at me inside the car. I have something important to do. I can't go to the wedding venue. Tell the elders of both families for me that the wedding is cancelled. She thought these words would make me sad or even shed tears, but I just calmly looked at her. I already said, it doesn't matter whether you come to this wedding or not, because the bride is not you. A hint of panic flashed in Shen Yui's heart, but she still spoke in a low voice. I said cancel the wedding. With me the bride not showing up, do you really want to become a laughingstock for the whole city? This time I was too lazy to speak, and directly told the driver to drive. Very quickly the convoy left the scene. Shen Yue didn't have time to care about me, hailed a cab by the road, and hurried to the hot spring resort in the suburbs. Seeing Yi Chen surrounded by a group of friends, she frowned tightly. Didn't you say Yi Chen was in danger? A group of friends pulled her inside, laughing, just tricking you. If we didn't say that, how could you run away from the wedding? We just wanted to see what kind of joke Shang Yan would make today. Shen Yue's face suddenly changed, and she hurriedly brushed off the hand resting on her shoulder. Turning to leave, foolish, Yi Chen grabbed her arm, his eyes red, his tone pleading. Yue, my head really hurts a bit. Can you stay with me for a while? Besides, it's far from the wedding venue here, you wouldn't make it in time if you went over there anyway. While Shen Yue hesitated, her friends had opened the live broadcast screen. On the screen, everything was proceeding as planned. Seeing that Shang Yan stubbornly didn't cancel the wedding, everyone showed mocking smiles. He's still not stopping? It'll be so embarrassing later when it starts without a bride. Shang Yan is way too desperate to get married, huh? Making a joke out of the dignity of the two families. It'll be hilarious when it gets out of hand. Shen Yue didn't know what I was thinking, so angry her face grew dark. She was considering whether to call and inform the Shen family when a gasp of surprise rang out next to her. The wedding has started. Shen Yue looked up. Saw me standing in the center of the stage. I stood alone under the spotlight for a long time, but the bride didn't show up. The live stream room was full of question marks and comments. Like the bride ran away spamming the screen. Everyone in the room was laughing so hard that they couldn't even stand straight. Shen Yue's face was cold as ice, her tone carrying suppressed anger. Idiot. She wanted to turn off the live stream. Just as her hand pressed the exit button, she heard the mixy voice. The bride has arrived. The next second, the tightly closed main doors opened. Xin Qingmo, wearing a sky blue diamond-studded wedding dress, slowly walked out. She slightly nodded to the whole hall as a greeting, her cold gaze sweeping across, giving people an extremely strong sense of oppression. The entire hall immediately quieted down. In dead silence, the guests at the scene were stunned. No one expected the bride to be Xin Qingmo. In front of the screen, those waiting to watch a good show were also frozen in place. Shen Yue gritted her teeth tightly, veins popping on her forehead, her voice full of anger. Aunt, impossible. There must be some mistake. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the room snapped out of it, stammering in agreement. Right. The Mac must have made a mistake. How could CEO Shen marry Shang Yan? They are of different generations. Shang Yan doesn't even want Sister Yue. How could he be worthy of CEO Shen? It's just a mistake. Just as a crowd of people was denying it, Shen Qingmo had already walked to the center of the stage. The wedding entered the bride and groom's vow exchange. The Mick asked, Ms. Shen Qingmo, do you take Mr. Shang Yan to be your husband? To love and be faithful to him, for richer or for poorer, in youth or in old age? Will you be with him for the rest of your life, growing old together? Shen Qingmos. I do. Made the whole room instantly fall into dead silence. Everyone's jaws dropped, staring at the scene before them in shock. Shen Yue's mind went blank. The blood in her entire body seemed to flow backwards. She suddenly grabbed a set of car keys, knocked over the wine table in front of her, and rushed out like a madwoman, ignoring the calls from behind Shen Yue. We had only one thought in her mind. Shang Yan was her fiancé. He could only marry her. He absolutely couldn't marry her aunt. She floored the gas pedal, ran more than a dozen red lights. By the time she arrived, the wedding reception was almost over. Most of the guests had left, leaving only the relatives of the Shang and Shen families. With a glance, she saw me surrounded and chatting in the middle, rushed up and tightly grabbed my hand, her tone full of panic and tension. Come with me. Before Shang Yan could say a word, the relatives around spoke up first. Yue, what are you doing? It's your aunt and Shang Yan's wedding. Why did you only come after it ended? Shang Yan and Qingmo still have to go back to the old house to serve tea later? What are you making a fuss about? Shen Yue, let go of him right now. It's one thing to mess around normally. Today is your aunt's wedding. If you keep making a fuss, I'll deal with you. Uncles, aunts, and parents took turns scolding her. Shen Yue, however, remained stubborn, the grip on her hand getting stronger. The skin on my wrist was squeezed red. I frowned slightly, about to speak, when a gentle and magnetic voice came from behind. Let go. Just 2 words made Shen Yue let go as if struck by lightning, not even daring to turn her head, stubbornly calling out, Aunt! Shen Qingmo didn't reply. The crowd automatically parted. She walked straight to my side, lifted my hand and gently rubbed it, then glanced at Shen Yue. This is your uncle-in-law. The atmosphere seemed to freeze. Shen Yue strongly resisted this title, but under Shen Qingmo's strong pressure, her hair stood on end like ants crawling. The fear in her blood pushed her to softly call out, Uncle-in-law. In front of both families, I generously replied, We are all family from now on. Every single word was like a heavy rock pressing on Shin Yui's heart, making her unable to breathe. She clenched her fists, staring at the person in front of her, emotions surging in her eyes. I could feel her unwillingness and anger but didn't care. I held Shen Qingmo's hand and smiled to ask her about the next schedule. Shen Qingmo looked at her watch. When she looked up again, those usually calm eyes rarely shone with tenderness. We skipped the morning tea ceremony. According to the rules, we should go to the old house to make up for it first. But I've been tired all day. Let's leave these formal ceremonies for tomorrow. Can we go back and rest first? The elders of the Shen family smiled and teased. Oh my, getting married really makes a difference. You know how to dote on your husband now. Usually Qingmo is cold and distant. Turns out she also knows how to speak gently. Old Master Shen with a ruddy face waved his hand. As long as you two treat each other with respect and live in harmony, it doesn't matter if you drink this tea or not. Shangyan woke up early in the morning to prepare. He must be very tired. Don't bother the newlyweds anymore. Dismissed. Everyone dismissed. Amidst the teasing, Shen Qingmo pulled me away from the hall, watching their backs slowly fade away. The knuckles of Shen Yui's clenched fists cracked. The suppressed emotions of anger and pain completely burst out after everyone dispersed. What exactly is going on? The Shang and Shen families are intermarrying. Shouldn't it be me marrying Shangyan? Father Shen was immersed in joy. Mother Shen was startled by this angry shout and looked at her daughter with displeasure. What are you going crazy about now? Half a month ago, when the Shang family came over, your Uncle Shang, Aunt Shang, and your Shangyan specifically named that they wanted to marry your aunt. They never mentioned your name. How could it be your turn? If the bride isn't me, why did you ask me to pick up the bride? Yi Chen and a group of latecomers walked in. Hearing this conversation, they were all stunned. Seeing Yi Chen among the people who suddenly rushed in, Shen's parents guessed the reason for Shen Yui's absence and their faces darkened. This morning your aunt missed her flight in Hong Kong. We asked you to help pick up the bride, and you did great, running away halfway, hanging out with a bunch of bad friends. What kind of behavior is this? For today's wedding, the relatives of both the Shang and Shen families were all present except for you. If it wasn't for your Uncle Shang helping to persuade, Grandpa would definitely have dealt with you. From now on, Shangyan is your uncle-in-law. You better behave yourself. Don't do anything out of line. Otherwise, if your aunt gets angry, no one will be able to protect you. Amidst these scoldings, Shen Yui's face gradually turned pale. She had never thought that one day Shangyan would become her uncle-in-law. Her shoulders couldn't help but tremble. She despairingly closed her eyes. The past events she had once mocked flashed before her eyes scene by scene. I was drenched like a drowned rat at the bar, but still confidently cleared my name. The wedding ring I designed was slightly smaller than hers, and it took a lot of effort to put it on. At the family dinner, hearing her aunt's name, I couldn't help but tense up. Until this moment, Shen Yui finally understood that it was all real. I had never lied to her. It was just that she was immersed in the past of being passionately pursued by me and ignored my changes. Starting from the day of the engagement, I was no longer the old me. But the person who clearly demanded to intermarry with me the day before, why did he seem like a different person overnight? Perhaps it wasn't the person who changed, but the attitude. The things she had done in the past had broken my heart too much, so I decided to give up. Or perhaps his marriage to her aunt was just a trick to play hard to get. Countless thoughts swirled in Shen Yui's mind. She felt like her head was going to explode, desperately tearing at her hair. Seeing her like this, Yi Chen hugged her heartbrokenly, comforting her continuously. Shen's parents, who were about to leave, saw this, and their faces became extremely ugly. A butler's son actually had the delusion of climbing up the social ladder with the Shen family. Although I knew Shen Qingmo's feelings because we hadn't interacted much in both lifetimes, when we were actually alone together, I was still a bit unnatural. Shen Qingmo also noticed my feelings and spoke gently. Everyone calls you Shangyan. I didn't expect her to speak suddenly and nodded slightly. My grandparents also call me a Xing. You can call me that too. Halfway through my words, my face was already blushing red. For some reason, I remembered the stack of love letters I had only glanced at once and looked down with a guilty conscience. Not knowing what she remembered, a glint flashed in Shen Qingmo's eyes, her lips carrying a gentle smile. A Xing, Xing, it means a starry sky. I didn't guess wrong, did I? For some reason, I heard a hint of joy in her tone. I couldn't hold back my curiosity and secretly tilted my head to confirm. Just in time to meet her deep pupils. The moment our eyes met, I was unconsciously drawn in, staring at her blankly. The next second, I heard her say a sentence that went beyond my perception of her. A Xing is very nice, Shangyan isn't bad either. But I think husband is the best. After all, it is one of a kind. Hearing the last few words, my heart pounded like a beating drum. I didn't know how to respond, so I could only say, hastily shifting my gaze and looking down. Although the air conditioning was on in the car, I was so hot that I started sweating. Our hands holding each other became clammy. Shen Qingmo chuckled softly, thoughtfully lowered the temperature a few degrees, and handed over a handkerchief. I took it to wipe my sweat and heard her continue talking. Although we are of different generations, I am 7 years older than you, but if you add it all up, we can barely be considered peers. In the front seat, the driver who had worked for the Shen family for over 30 years couldn't help it when he heard this, couldn't help but interject. CEO Shen, how are you calculating that? That's stretching it a bit too much. Shen Qingmo looked in the mirror, saw the person grinning widely, her tone a bit helpless. Uncle Liu, don't ruin it for me. All right, I won't say any more, okay? You just continue. Shen Qingmo then withdrew her gaze and continued her unfinished sentence. Although we haven't interacted much before, we are husband and wife from now on. You don't need to be so afraid of me. Just like normal couples, speak your mind. I will humbly listen to my husband's opinions and fulfill my duties as a wife. This was the first time I heard her speak such a long paragraph, and also the first time seeing her in public, chatting so comfortably. I was a bit unaccustomed to it and couldn't help but ask, can I really speak my mind? Seeing Shen Qingmo nod, I gathered my courage and asked, why did you agree to intermarry with me? Shen Qingmo froze for a few seconds, quickly returned to normal, and asked back, I can answer you, but before that, I also want to ask you a question. For an intermarriage partner, why did you choose me? I had a headache. Luckily, my mind was sharp and quickly thought of a few reasons. I am the only son of the Shang family. You are the head of the Xin family. It's an intermarriage. It must be a union of the strong. Besides, our age difference isn't that big. We definitely have common ground and can get along well. No need to worry about living together after marriage. You are so outstanding. I chose the best person to ask first. If you really agreed, wouldn't I have hit the jackpot? Shen Qingmo knew I was talking nonsense as soon as she heard it. These were not my true thoughts, but there were some things she really wanted to get clear. Waiting for me to finish, she continued to ask, in your heart, the first choice for the intermarriage was me, and we was only the second choice, right? The car immediately fell silent. Hearing this name, I remembered the dark past. My eyes shifted slightly. Shen Qingmo realized I didn't want to talk about this person and was about to change the subject when she heard my voice drop significantly, no. After those two firm words, I looked up straight at her with unprecedented determination in my eyes. If you hadn't agreed, I definitely wouldn't have married into the Shen family and would have found a way to cancel this intermarriage. Hearing this answer, Shen Qingmo unknowingly breathed a sigh of relief. She rubbed her fingertips and asked two more questions very important to me. Isn't Yue good? Didn't you like her a lot? In her barely audible voice there was a hint of complex, hard-to-detect emotion. I caught it. I knew why she asked this question, and also knew my answer would affect how we live together in the future. Shen Qingmo was a tolerant and proud woman. She would absolutely not allow herself to be a replacement. In my previous life, those feelings were buried for over 30 years and were only discovered when I died unexpectedly. Her self-control was evident. If she knew I was reborn and only chose her because I didn't want to repeat my mistakes, she would definitely continue to hide those feelings. This was not what I wanted to see. So, I lied. I originally only liked her face. Thinking that I had to intermarry, marrying an outstanding beauty wasn't bad either. That's why I pursued her. There's nothing you can't do. You surely know that the person she likes isn't me, right? I'm not as capable as you. I only found out recently. I am the eldest young master of the Shang family. How could I tolerate my wife having another man in her heart? So I didn't hesitate to dump her. You are 100, 1,000 times better than her. I just thought I'd give it a try. Anyway, the whole Jingbei knows that I, Shang Yan, to pursue a woman would stop at nothing and not care about dignity. My tone was relaxed, but Shen Qingmo could see the unshed tears in my eyes. Having struggled in the business world for years, she could easily see through people's hearts. But facing me who was lying, she couldn't bring herself to say a harsh word. She just wanted to throw herself into my arms. And she actually did. Anyway, since we were already husband and wife, the things she was afraid of before, she no longer needed to fear. I softly sobbed. The shirt, wet with tears, clung to her body, making her chest ache for no reason. She gently patted my back, her tone warmer and gentler than the March spring sun. This is called bravery, not stopping at nothing. It was clearly a very simple sentence, but it acted like a layer of putty smoothing over, the scars etched deep in my heart for years. I no longer held back my painful emotions. They all poured out with my tears. After a good cry, I was hungry. The car had also stopped. Only the newlyweds leaning against each other remained in the car. After the emotions passed, remembering the scene just now, I only felt embarrassed. How could I cry in front of Shen Qingmo? How should I explain this? While I was thinking, Shen Qingmo spoke first. The reason is somewhat similar to yours. Firstly, it's a union of the strong. Secondly, I think you're not a bad person. Thirdly, I'm not young anymore and it's time to settle down. I knew right away she was just saying that to brush it off. In my previous life, because of me, she was urged by her family until 35 and still hadn't married. I muttered in complaint. Liar. Surprise flashed in Shen Qingmo's eyes. She nodded non-committally. You lied to me too. 1-1, it's a tie. One night, Shen Yue kept chugging wine, throwing up but still refusing to put down the glass. Ye Chen beside her cried until his eyes were swollen and hoarsely advised, Yui, stop drinking, okay? If you drink more, you'll end up in the hospital. Don't hurt yourself over someone ungrateful who likes to climb the social ladder. Hearing these words, Shen Yui's bleary eyes sobered up a little. She grabbed Yi Chen's collar with one hand and slurred drunkenly, "What ungrateful climbing the social ladder. He married my aunt just to piss me off. Having known him for over 10 years, wouldn't I know his little thoughts? He just wants me to coax him. I'm going to find him right now with just a crook of my finger. He'll definitely come back." With that, Shen Yue pushed the wine bottle away and staggered to her feet towards the door. Yi Chen bit his lip and followed behind with an unwilling expression. After the taxi driver stopped the car at the South Bay Villa, Shen Yue directly entered the password and barged in. In the quiet night, the knocking on the door disturbed everyone's good sleep. The butler opened the door and seeing it was her, hurriedly called someone to help her in, planning to go upstairs and inform Shen Qingmo. The night breeze blew past. Shen Yue sobered up a bit and insisted on following upstairs, pounding loudly on the door. Woken up, Shen Qingmo opened the door. Seeing her drunk state, her face instantly turned cold. "Take her to sober up." The butler took the order and hurriedly took her to the bathroom. Only Yi Chen was left alone in the hallway. He lowered his head, trying to minimize his presence, his voice sounding like he was about to cry. Hello, CO Shen." Shen Qingmo glanced at him, about to ask what happened tonight, when footsteps came from behind. "What's the noise?" Seeing me rubbing my eyes walking out, a hint of warmth shone in her cold eyes. She turned and linked her arm with mine. "Just a small matter. You go back to rest first. I'll be done dealing with it right away." Hearing the familiar voice, Yi Chen couldn't help but look up and saw the person Shen Yue had been talking about all night, now nesting in the arms of another woman, being carefully cared for. Remembering that his painstaking schemes recently were all in vain, and the person he hated the most was living, the life he admired the most, Yi Chen felt extreme hatred and couldn't help but sow discord. "Mr. Sheng, Miss knew you got married today and has been sad all night. No matter how angry you are with her, you shouldn't use CO Shen as a shield, making the miss so heartbroken. She already agreed to marry you. How could you go back on your word like this? Haven't seen you for a few days." Yi Chen's skill in sowing discord has really improved. I raised my eyebrows. Just as I was about to speak, I heard Shen Qingmo's low voice. "What a sharp tongue. Tomorrow I must ask my sister-in-law how she trains such a sharp-tongued servant." Hearing the word sister-in-law, Yi Chen felt a chill all over his body. Shen Yui's parents had never liked him. They wanted to find an excuse to fire his whole family several times. But Shen Yue stopped them. If Shen Qingmo personally went to complain about this, even God himself wouldn't be able to save his family. So he panicked and tried to explain, stuttering as he spoke. "It's not like that, President Shen. Everything I said is the truth. The one Mr. Sheng always wanted to marry was our miss. Everyone in Jingbei knows it." Before he could finish speaking, I rotated my wrist and slapped him twice decisively, using all my strength, hitting Yi Chen until he was dizzy. Both of his cheeks swelled up, like bright red longevity peaches. "What gives you the right to hit me?" Caught off guard by the slap, Yi Chen lost his mind, collapsing on the ground, screaming out of control. I blew on my red palm and glanced at him absent-mindedly. "One slap is for you hitting me with a car last time. The other slap is returning the favor. Is that so hard to understand?" Hearing these words, Shen Qingmo's eyes immediately froze. When she looked down at the person on the ground, the emotion in her eyes made Yi Chen shiver. There was no anger, nor was there any contempt, only the indifference of looking at an ant. In an instant, Yi Chen felt his scalp go numb. It was the first time he felt death was so close, just as he was about to break down. The butler led Shen Yue, who was already half sober, outside. Shen Yue saw me at first glance, staggered over, trying to grab me, but her hand was slapped away by Shen Qingmo. Her temper from being spoiled for years made Shen Yue unable to hold back her anger, but when she looked up and saw that familiar face, the impatience on her face instantly turned into fear. This aunt towards her niece who wasn't much younger. Shen Qingmo never usually pulled rank as an elder, but she was in a very bad mood right now, so she showed no mercy at all, scolding her right in front of the servants. "Shen Yue, getting drunk and making a scene at my house, even bringing along a biting dog. Why don't you have any memory at all? Did you forget what I told you about the Shen family? That we don't raise useless freeloaders?" The atmosphere of the entire villa dropped to the freezing point because of these words. No one dared to even breathe heavily, shrinking back one by one to minimize their presence, to avoid bringing trouble to themselves, except for me. It was my first time seeing Shen Qingmo so angry, also my first time seeing Shen Yue, who never feared anything, being put in her place so obediently. I couldn't help but be a little surprised. It's true that there's always someone who can keep another in check. Since I already had someone backing me up, I didn't need to hold back anymore either. I decided to make everything clear. "Shen Yue, if from now on, you have to call me uncle, then I'll be straightforward with some words I don't want to get involved in. You're and Yi Chen's love story. Whether you two break up or get back together has absolutely nothing to do with me. Don't appear in front of me in the future if you have no business. I already have my own family. I'm still your elder, even if we meet in the future. I hope you can give me the most basic respect. Not saying you must be reverent, but the necessary etiquette cannot be lacking. That way people won't gossip. Saying the Shen family doesn't know how to raise their daughters, wouldn't you say? A few words made Shen Yui so angry her veins popped. She was just about to retort, when she heard another voice that terrified her. Didn't understand or heard it clearly, seeing Shen Yui lower her head in admission of fault. Shen Qingmo was tired too. Left a sentence and led me back to the room. If you understood, why aren't you leaving? Do you want me to call the servants to escort you out? Shen Yu, we didn't dare to linger for even a moment. Dragging Yi Chen and fleeing downstairs. The villa returned to silence. I let out a yawn. Just as I lay back on the bed, Shen Qingmo asked with concern, "What's with the car accident? Is the wound on your forehead from that time? Tell me about it." I didn't want her to worry, so I wanted to brush it off. It's fine, it's all in the past. Look, I'm perfectly healthy. Shen Qingmo just picked up her phone, contacted the hospital to arrange a checkup, and frowned as she interrupted me. Your injury is no small matter. Hearing the worry and concern in her voice, I felt a sting in my nose, about to cry again, but I still held back my tears, and took all the things that happened recently, to tell her everything from start to finish. After finalizing the marriage alliance, I thought it through and planned to make it clear to Shen Yue. The next afternoon, Shen Yue was pushed awake while in a daze. Pressing her dizzy and painful forehead, she opened her eyes to get angry, only to see Yi Chen crying miserably. Yue, madam wants to fire my parents, kicking our whole family out of the Shen household. You need to think of something quickly. The blurry images in her head, after hearing these words, instantly disappeared without a trace. She sat bolt upright, with a tone full of disbelief. Impossible. As she spoke, she grabbed her phone to call Mother Shen to ask for an explanation. But after the call connected, as soon as she stated her intention, Mother Shen immediately hung up. There is no room for negotiation in this matter. Hearing this firm answer, Yi Chen cried even louder, hugging her and begging endlessly. Miss Yue, can you talk to Madam again? My whole family hasn't done anything wrong. Yi Chen just wants to stay by your side. You definitely understand my heart, right? Seeing him break down like this, Shen Yue was heartbroken. After finding out Mother Shen's location, she led the entire Yi family to the old estate. The old estate had always been quiet, yet many people came today. Voices could be heard from far away. Shen Yue didn't know what had happened inside. She originally intended to wait for her mother to come out before speaking, but after standing there for just a few minutes, she couldn't stand Yi Chen's miserable pleading and had to risk barging in. The living room doors were pushed wide open. Everyone in the hall turned to look, only to see all the members of the Shen family. The Shang parents were also all present. Shen Qingmo and I were kneeling in front of Master Shen serving tea. Shen Yue instantly realized this wasn't a good time, just as she wanted to lead them away. Mother Yi, lacking any tact, wiped her tears and knelt down in front of the Shen parents, crying and complaining. Madam, my husband and I have served you and sir for over a dozen years. The miss was also taken care of by me since she was little. How could you say nothing? And just fire our whole family? What did we do wrong? Tell us and we'll fix it. Isn't that enough? In broad daylight, being disturbed by a few servants like this, Madam Shen's face immediately darkened. Enough, whatever it is, talk about it at home. This is the old estate. Mother, Yi, you are too out of line. Hearing the words, old estate. Not only did Mother Yi not quiet down, she cried even harder instead, even kneeling in front of the master to pour out her grievances. In the blink of an eye, the originally beautiful tea-serving ceremony turned into a crying spectacle of complaining about injustice. The three Yi family members insisted on the master upholding justice. The Shen parents were dizzy with anger, but for the sake of face, it wasn't appropriate to stop them. Master Shen had always been tolerant, never mistreating the servants. Hearing these words, naturally he had to ask for clarification, seeing Grandpa personally ask about it. Shen Yue also knew things had blown up, didn't dare to speak up anymore, could only desperately signal to Yi Chen, but Yi Chen was immersed in his misery. Thinking she wanted to abandon him, he gritted his teeth and kowtowed endlessly alongside his mother, just as the situation was about to lose control. Shen Qingmo picked up the glass on the table and threw it down in front of the Yi family. With a crash, glass shards scattered everywhere. The originally noisy main hall instantly fell quiet. Shen Qingmo helped me sit down, walked in front of the master, bowed slightly. Dad, you and Uncle Shang, Aunt Jiang should go upstairs to drink tea and talk. Leave this matter to me. I will definitely give you and our in-laws an explanation. With her words, Master Shen was naturally relieved, leading the in-laws upstairs. Only the Shen family remained in the living room. Shen Qingmo sat in the head seat, looking down from above at the three people kneeling on the ground, with a calm tone. Yi Chen, I recall you're not bad at speaking. Then you represent the Ai family and explain everything clearly, facing the head of the family whose mere name terrified the servants. Yi Chen was full of fear inside, But he also understood, now that there was a crowd, it was his only chance. So he wiped his tears dry, kneeling on the ground and taking the story, recounting it all from start to finish. After hearing his words, the Shen family relatives, even the bodyguards and servants at the door, all showed speechless expressions. What era is this? Isn't it just getting fired? It's not like you can't find another job. Is there a need to make such a big fuss? Only Shen Qingmo, from beginning to end, didn't have a single change in expression. She called her eldest brother and sister-in-law over, told them to gather all the servants in the house, in front of everyone. She asked the servants about their thoughts on firing the Ai family. As soon as this was mentioned, the originally silent servants spoke up one after another, pouring out everything in their hearts. I think Madam did the right thing. Ye Chen relied on the young Mrs. affection, throwing his weight around the house all day. He even dared to take Madam's jewelry and clothes, threatening us not to tell, and saying if Madam asked, just say that the mist took them and ruined them. I also think firing them is good. Mother Yi bragged every day that her son was about to marry up, shoving all the work onto us, while she herself was lazy and didn't work every day. Uncle Yi is the same, even sneaking gifts given by guests. When caught, saying the miss agreed to it. Who knows how many times it's happened. The faces of the Yi family, amidst these successive accusations, turned pale. After Shen Yue listened restlessly, her face also became incredibly ugly. The rest of the Shen family, some were indignant, some glared coldly. No one sympathized with these three. I had been observing coldly the whole time, picked up my teacup and took a few sips. A flash of coldness flickered in my eyes. In my past life, this scene also happened. It's just that I didn't hold a wedding back then. Shen Qingmo was abroad. Shen Yue didn't come to serve tea with me. Led the Ai family to barge in. The elderly Master Shen was softened by the Ai family's crying, reprimanding the Shen parents on the spot, although the Shen parents admitted their mistake, not long after returning. They found an excuse to kick the Ai family out, and forced them to pay compensation. The Ai family had to borrow from loan sharks because of this. The cornered Yi family could only hand Yi Chen over to the creditors to pay off the debt. Becoming a live-in son-in-law, in the 3rd year of his marriage, his wife passed away. My fate also changed along with it. Reborn in this life, I changed my marriage partner. The direction of the story was also entirely different. Under the same circumstances, with Shen Qingmo here, I believed everything would be different. The truth was exactly as I expected. After the Shen parents explained everything clearly in front of everyone, Shen Qingmo directly announced the result. Everyone has heard the testimonies clearly. The physical evidence is probably also at the Ai house, eldest brother, sister-in-law. I think based on the current situation, you two should report them to the police for theft, recover and demand compensation for the stolen items. What do you think? A single sentence woke them from their dreams. The Shen parents hurriedly had someone call the police, clearly aware of the value of the items they stole and ruined. Uncle Yi and Mother Yi lost their minds, kowtowing hard and begging for mercy, having lost all face. The Shen parents did not soften at all, hearing the police sirens. Ye Chen crawled on his knees in front of Shen Yue, crying and begging her. But Shen Yue had witnessed the whole process with her own eyes. There was not a shred of pity in her heart. The look in her eyes toward Yi Chen was no longer gentle either. Since things have come to this, from now on. The rest of the words got stuck in Shen Yue's throat. She looked in disbelief as Uncle Yi rushed into the kitchen and grabbed a knife to commit suicide. Her eyes went wide. Dad, as soon as Yi Chen's frantic howling ended. Mother Yi also followed suit and committed suicide with a look of despair. Mom, bright red blood splattered onto the marble floor. Drip drop. The surveillance cameras truthfully recorded the entire incident. After the police cleaned up the scene and finished taking statements, they prepared to take the bodies and Yi Chen back to the police station. Shen Yue hugged Yi Chen tightly, refusing to let go for dear life. Yi Chen fell into her arms, his eyes glazed over. I never liked you in the first place. Shen Yue was overwhelmingly heartbroken, wanting to negotiate with the police, to wait until his emotions stabilized before anything else. But Shen Qingmo stopped it all. She took out a piece of surveillance footage and handed it to the police, slowly making her request. Officer Zhang, this is a piece of surveillance footage. It clearly shows Yi Chen, suspected of attempting to murder my husband. I request to file a case for investigation. Hearing these words, Yi Chen, who was out of it, instantly sobered up. Losing control, he screamed. It wasn't me. That was just an accident. The police have already investigated it clearly. Yui also signed a settlement agreement for me. You can't hold me accountable, he argued agitatedly. Shen Yue also wanted to help prove it. But Shen Qingmo didn't give her the chance. Officer Zhang, my husband and the signatory are merely friends. That settlement agreement at the police station does not have any legal effect. Furthermore, My husband personally advocates holding him responsible. Do you understand my meaning? Officer Zhang's face turned serious, solemnly accepting the evidence, preparing to take Yi Chen away. Shen Yue still wanted to stop them, but was called back by a sentence from Shen Qingmo. If you step out of this door today, you won't need to carry the surname Shen in the future. Our Shen family does not tolerate criminal elements, colluding with a murderer. Additionally, you were also present on the day of the incident. With your signature on the agreement, you will definitely be summoned by the police station in the future. I hope you will tell the truth from start to finish. As to whether you are truly innocent or an accomplice, then leave that to the police and the court. Shen Yui's face instantly turned as pale as paper, not daring to say another word, seeing her take no action. Yi Chen's last hope shattered as well. He struggled free with all his might, lunged at her, slapped her hard, with a tone full of despair. Shen Yue, I didn't expect you to be such a weak woman, so useless, heartless, and meaningless. It was me who misjudged you. No wonder Shangyan wouldn't even look at you. You deserve to be dumped by him, and used by me. Ha 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 ha, let me tell you, I never liked you in the first place. All the sweet words I said to you were just to coax you into transferring money and giving me gifts. You only have that little use value anyway. Aside from your money and that face, you are just a worthless piece of trash. If I could live my life again, I'd rather marry a servant than absolutely ever look at you one more time. Shen Yui's eyes, which still held hesitation and pity, became cold with every word and sentence. For the first time, she realized the person she had liked for so many years and protected for so many years was just a mediocre gold digger. She shoved Yi Chen away forcefully, with a tone full of endless anger and pain. Get out! The police led away the man, who was still struggling to leave the old Shen estate. The moment the doors closed, Shen Yue felt as if her entire body was drained of energy. She turned around in a breakdown, only to meet a familiar pair of eyes, mine. Seeing me, the gloom in her heart deepened, parting her lips slightly, wanting to call out to me. Shang Yan. I didn't respond to her. I extended my hand towards Shen Qingmo next to me, my voice faint yet gentle. The matter is temporarily over. You should serve tea to my parents now. All right, they must be waiting anxiously too, watching the backs of the two people leaning on each other as they left. The light in Shen Yui's eyes gradually faded. A severe pain hit from her chest. Her tears welled up. She felt like something was being drawn out of her body, gradually flying away, never to be found again. On the way home, Shen Qingmo kept reading the report. From the hospital checkup that the secretary had just brought, she read the sentence over and over. Minor injuries, no abnormalities in internal organs and bones, 6 or 7 times, before she finally felt relieved. I casually took the report beside her and threw it into my bag, with a gentle tone. I told you I'm fine. You insisted on taking me for a checkup this morning. Are you relieved now? I had to see the test results with my own eyes, before I could feel at ease. It just took a little extra time. These words made sense. I nodded, then remembered an important matter. You got the surveillance footage from Shen Yui's villa. When was that? This morning. Shen Qingmo answered decisively. I was a little confused. Didn't she know? She doesn't need to know. Anyway, all the assets in her hands have to pass through my hands. Houses, cars, shares, no exceptions. A strange thought suddenly flashed through my mind, but before I could grasp it, that spark vanished in a flash, leaving only an unusual feeling lingering in my heart, which refused to dissipate. The matter has been resolved. I didn't think much more about it, excitedly asked Shen Qingmo. Do you want to taste my cooking? Shen Qingmo glanced at me in surprise, with astonishment in her voice. You even know how to cook? The 21-year-old me naturally didn't know. But in my past life after having my daughter, I learned quite a bit from the nutritionist. But in front of her, I didn't dare to show off too much either, just modestly saying I knew a little. Entering the kitchen, I fried the fresh and plump Qingjiang fish until it was pitch black. The kitchen was filled with thick smoke. The confidence on my face instantly turned into awkwardness, racking my brain for an excuse. I only know how to make nutritious meals. This is my first time frying fish. It's normal to fail. Shen Qingmo held back her laughter, pretending to agree with my words. Then just make nutritious meals from now on. We both eat healthy, so we can live to be 100 years old and grow old together. It was clearly a saying with a beautiful meaning, but hearing it made my heart ache. In my previous life, I only lived to be 35. She also passed away in the same year. The two of us combined didn't even reach 100 years, although our fate has changed in this life. But what will the future hold? No one knows. Seeing the panic in my eyes, Shen Qingmo guessed that I might have recalled something unpleasant. She quickly changed the subject. But I don't know how to cook fish. Why did you suddenly want to try? Her question made me stammer, unable to give a reason. Finally, feeling a bit frustrated, I wiped the black stain on my hand onto her clothes. I heard you liked eating it, so. If I knew you wouldn't appreciate it, I wouldn't have wasted my effort. Shen Qingmo wiped my hands while coaxing me. If my husband makes it, You'll love eating it even if it's burnt. How about asking them to bring over a few more fish? I'll help you watch the stove. You will definitely succeed today. With her saying this, my confidence increased a lot. I rolled up my sleeves again. After several hours of hard work and sacrificing 3 fish, I finally stewed a pot of milky white fish soup. Shen Qingmo immediately took a photo to commemorate it, and even posted her first ever Moments update, the first bowl of fish soup my husband stewed. A few minutes later, likes and comments reached 99 plus. Who stewed it? Since when did Shangyan know how to cook? None of us knew. So jealous, so jealous, so jealous. Someone stew a bowl of fish soup for me. I want to drink it too. Next time let my son-in-law show off his skills. Shen Yue also scrolled past this post, looking at the ring-wearing hand exposed in the corner of the photo. The loneliness in her heart reached its peak. This ring originally belonged to her. This bowl of fish soup was also originally cooked for her, but now it has all vanished into thin air. She has nothing. Only a cold, empty room remains. Where exactly did she go wrong? Shen Yue couldn't figure it out. She could only drown her sorrows in alcohol. After getting tipsy, the suppressed taboo feelings were all released. She couldn't help but call Shangyan. By the 4th call, the call was finally connected. There was only the sound of gentle breathing in her ear. I listened groggily, a deep, sorrowful voice. Shangyan, I was no good before. I shouldn't have ignored you time and time again. I'm sorry. I know you have me in your heart. Marrying my youngest aunt was just to spite me, right? Divorce her. Come back to me, okay? I promise you. I will make up for the wedding and the wedding rings for you. From now on, I will be with you wholeheartedly, I whispered, spilling out all the unspeakable feelings. But the other end of the line remained silent. This endless silence made Shen Yue confused. Shangyan, why aren't you saying anything? Wifey, where's the hairdryer? Shen Qingmo's voice came through the phone. A familiar voice faintly echoed. Shen Yui's breath immediately hitched. Next second, she heard Shen Qingmo's voice again, as if right next to her. Extremely clear, wait a moment. You'll bring it to you right now. After a gentle reply, her tone suddenly turned cold. Shen Yue, your urgent priority now is to give the police station an explanation. Not to bother the uncle-in-law you have hurt time and time again. With a beep, the phone was hung up. Shen Yui's heart kept sinking into the dark night. On the other side, Shen Qingmo was holding the hairdryer drying my hair. I was playing on my phone while casually asking, did someone call just now? I nodded and told the truth. Shen Yue is drunk again. She called to make a scene. I've already taught her a lesson for you. The word teach a lesson used on Shen Yue. I always felt it was a bit strange, but thinking about how she and I are relatives now, a wonderful feeling suddenly welled up in my heart. I couldn't help but want to ask for details. Listening to your tone, it sounds like you frequently teach her a lesson. But you are only 6 years older than her, right? Seeing my curious expression, Shen Qingmo chuckled softly. When she was in kindergarten, she was very naughty. She deliberately pulled a chair away, causing Grandpa to take a fall. He fractured a bone and had to be hospitalized for half a month. I gave her a good beating. From then on, she looks at me like a mouse seeing a cat, so it left her with psychological trauma. Only then did I understand the reason. She is so afraid of you. So what do you think of her? Shen Qingmo's hand paused. Many complex emotions flashed in her eyes. After pondering for a long time, she finally answered carefully. Too impulsive, not mature enough, hard to take on important responsibilities. This assessment was indeed spot on. I was a bit surprised by Shen Qingmo's ability to accurately judge people. I couldn't help but want to ask what she thought of me. This time she hesitated even longer. Smart, rational, decisive, most importantly, has good taste. Living through 2 lives, it's still my first time hearing someone evaluate me like this. But only I know. These are all lessons I exchanged with blood and tears. A 7-year marriage of cold violence, a tragically deceased daughter, a life of endless illness and unceasing depression. Even though everything is in the distant past, but whenever I recall it, I still always feel heartbroken. I hugged Shen Qingmo, listening to her heartbeat. Only then did I slowly release and digest those emotions. Everything is a new beginning. Time passed day by day. On the day of the first snowfall, carrying charges of theft, intentional murder, Ye Chen, with multiple charges, was sentenced by the court. Sentenced to 6 years in prison when the news reached Shen Yue. She was dead drunk. She didn't care about this matter at all. During this half year, she wallowed in a life of drunken stupor, rarely having sober moments. No one could persuade her otherwise. Every time she got drunk, she kept calling Sheng Yan's name nonstop. Her friends looked at each other, but not a single one dared to contact me. To be precise, no one dared to mess with Shen Qingmo. After all, the media had captured photos of the two of us several times, enjoying our honeymoon abroad, looking very happy like newlyweds, deeply in love. On New Year's Eve, Shen Qingmo took Sheng Yan to end their honeymoon and return for the New Year. During the Shen family's New Year's Eve dinner, she happily announced to the whole family a piece of good news. I'm pregnant. The doctor said it's twins, amidst the congratulations. Shen Yue lost her composure and dropped her wine glass. The whole family turned to look at her. Her face was pale. She used all her strength just to squeeze out the words "congratulations" through gritted teeth. Every passing second became incredibly unbearable after just 10 minutes. Shen Yue casually found an excuse and hurriedly left. That night she couldn't sleep and didn't drink alcohol either, sitting dazedly in the corner, reminiscing about the past. The electric lights brightly illuminated the room. She blankly stared at her things, and Shang Yan's things in the closet. The jar of 999 paper stars I folded by hand at the age of 10, the model I stayed up for over half a month to assemble at 16, the brooch and cufflinks I designed myself at 20. Keep looking at them. Shen Yui's eyes turned red. A feeling of pain spread throughout her body. Her entire heart felt like it was being squeezed tightly by a hand. Unable to breathe, she buried her face in her hands. Tears slid down through her fingers, soaking her sleeves. From this moment on, she finally understood the meaning of not appreciating something until it's lost. Although she was only 3 months pregnant, Shen Qingmo had already started coming up with names. She thought of over 10 names, for both boys and girls, along with nicknames too, and showed them to me. I put down my parenting book, just taking a glance, and was drawn to one of them. I picked up that piece of paper, looking at the word Yin Meng on it. My eyes welled up with tears. Why did you think of giving this name? Although she didn't know why I was heartbroken. Shen Qingmo immediately hugged me into her arms. Gently comforting, not good. Then we won't use this name. Let's look at the others. As Shen Qingmo spoke, she was about to pull this name out and throw it away. I stopped her, pressing this piece of paper to my heart. Tears filled my eyes, but I still smiled. No, let's use this name. We will definitely have a daughter. Then we will name her Yin Meng. I sounded so certain. Shen Qingmo reached out to wipe away the tear from the corner of my eye, and also handed over another piece of paper. All right, then the other one will be named Xinghe. When I heard this, I finally felt something wasn't right. Shen Yinmeng was named by Grandpa in my previous life, his daughter's name. But when I heard the pair of names she chose, when going out the two met at the door. After greeting each other, I was about to leave, but she called me back, bringing the child back alone. Where is she? At that time, Shen Yue was still immersed in the news of Ye Chen getting married, getting dead drunk every night, not seeing each other for weeks on end. My heart felt bitter, but I still had to cover up for her. She's been busy lately. I didn't want to disturb her work, so I came back alone. Even after so many years, Shang Yan still remembers Shen Qingmo's eyes at that moment, full of melancholy, gloomy and unclear, also mixed with a bit of dull pain. At that time, I didn't understand. Thinking back now, my heart was filled with mixed feelings. In my previous life, I had plenty of solitary courage. She hid her inner thoughts. The two of us just missed each other for so many years like that. 7 months later, Shen Qingmo gave birth to twin daughters. Shen Qingmo and I had discussed it. The older daughter, Shen Yingmeng, will inherit the Shen family business. The younger daughter, Jiang Xinghe, will inherit the Sheng family business. During the few months of Shen Qingmo's pregnancy, I was both by her side and helping her handle the next half-year's work. So after giving birth, Shen Qingmo had time to take care of them, plus Mother Sheng's help. I also happily enjoyed the free time. After the postpartum confinement ended, the couple brought the babies back to the old house. Grandpa was overjoyed. He divided the jewelry Grandma left behind in half and gave them to his 2 great-granddaughters. The other elders of the Shen family all prepared big gifts. Shen's parents even transferred the private amusement park under their names, saying it was a welcome gift for their nieces. Shang Yan remembered this amusement park. It originally belonged to Shen Yue. I subconsciously glanced at her, only to find that after not seeing each other for months, she was so haggard that she looked deformed, perhaps sensing my gaze. Shen Yue raised her head. Her bloodshot eyes blinked a few times, then shifted away. Shen Qingmo also looked over and frowned slightly. During the year she and Shang Yan got married, she rarely asked about Shen Yui's affairs, but occasionally heard about it. Although Shen Qingmo didn't like her princess-like temper, she was still her eldest brother's biological daughter after all, and she herself was the head of the Shen family. Whether out of affection or reason, she couldn't just watch Shen Yue fall into depravity. So after the party ended, Shen Qingmo called her into the study. I don't know what was said. When she came out, her complexion was much better, and spirit had returned to her eyes, seeing her regain her spirit. The hanging hearts of Grandpa and Shen's parents finally settled down. On the way home, I couldn't help but be curious. Wifey, what did you two talk about in the study? Shen Qingmo adjusted the small blankets for the children, holding my hand in her palm. I handed the Jinchuan project over to her. Just like that? Seeing that I didn't understand, Shen Qingmo patiently explained. She gets drunk all day, simply because she has lived in luxury for too long, immersed in love and unable to pull herself out, finding something for her to do. Once she's busy, she won't have time for random thoughts anymore, to prevent her from drinking herself sick one day, and making my eldest brother and sister-in-law worry. Winter passed and spring came. Year after year, the 2 children gradually grew up. Babbling as they learned to speak, both knew how to call for mom and dad, ever since getting married. The workaholic Shen Qingmo started, living a 9-to-5 life. Every day, the first thing after getting off work was buying pastries and toys as I instructed, and conveniently bringing back a bouquet of flowers. Before even entering the door, the two little ones would hear her footsteps and surround her, calling for mom incessantly. The decisive female CEO in the business world, facing the siege of her daughters, was completely unable to cope, sometimes carrying the older sister to play on the swings, sometimes taking the younger sister to ride the train, not getting a single moment of rest. Being tormented like this for 4 or 5 years, even Shen Qingmo couldn't take it anymore. As soon as the kids reached the age, they were sent to kindergarten. On the first day of school, after waving and waiting for the two little girls' silhouettes to disappear, she let out a long sigh of relief and grabbed my hand to leave immediately. Seeing her in such a rush, I clicked my tongue twice and laughed teasingly. I don't know who said having 2 daughters is good back then, wanting to stay by their side as they grow up without leaving for a moment, even saying they wanted to open a kindergarten at home. It's only been a few years, and you can't stand it already. Shen Qingmo frowned secretly, repenting for her ignorant innocence back then. Both of our personalities are not lively. Why are both kids so mischievous? I looked at her and spoke profoundly. Isn't it because you spoil them too much? I only say a few words, and you're already playing the peacemaker. It'd be weird if they were quiet. I think you're just asking for trouble. Shen Qingmo was criticized to the point where she listened silently without saying a word. Uncle Liu the driver looked at her demeanor and couldn't help but laugh. Young master, since you married CEO Shen, her status at home has plummeted rapidly. Who would have expected that someone who used to be cold to everyone would be so gentle now? Shen Qingmo helplessly shook her head, unable to refute. And Shang Yan covered his mouth and giggled, his eyes filled with smiles. Uncle Liu, don't look at her sullen face right now. She's actually very happy inside. That's right, young master. You have no idea. The employees in the company are all very grateful to you, saying that after CEO Shen got married. She realized the importance of family. Everyone no longer needs to work overtime, just following CEO Shen to leave work on time, if that's the case. Then Uncle Liu parked the car by the side of the road, and get off work too. The boss lady has spoken. Uncle Liu wasn't long-winded either. He quickly parked the car and handed over the keys. Shen Qingmo sat in the driver's seat, entered an address into the screen. I was a bit doubtful. What are we doing going to Mount Yangqing? Going on a date, the weather is so nice. I heard a hot spring resort opened over there. Going to see the autumn scenery would be nice too. I originally planned to go home and sleep, and was a bit unhappy with this sudden arrangement of hers. Shen Qingmo lowered her voice, and negotiated with me. How long has it been since the two of us had our own private world? Hubby, it's a rare opportunity. I couldn't sway her, and had to agree. After soaking in the hot spring, the couple leaned against each other in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the green pines and red leaves all over the mountain. Shen Qingmo helped me readjust the bath towel on my body, her movements gentle and meticulous. I looked into her eyes, and suddenly had an unreal feeling. It turns out such a peaceful life could also appear in my life. Being stared at for a while. Shen Qingmo gently pinched my nose. What's wrong, spacing out again? After pondering for a moment, I asked her a question. If I hadn't married you back then, or in other words, hadn't married into the Shen family, would you have married someone else? No, she answered very decisively, making me a bit surprised. Why? Shen Qingmo put her arm around my shoulders and leaned against the back of the chair, looking into the distance. If it weren't an arranged marriage, I wouldn't have any intention of getting married. I knew she was telling the truth, and also knew she was holding something back. For example, the first sentence. She omitted for me, other than me. She wouldn't marry anyone else. I already knew the answer in my previous life, so I believed it without a doubt. But in this life, we've been married for many years. The kids are already so big. She still keeps her secret crush on me hidden. I somewhat admired her resolve. On the children's 6th birthday, Grandpa planned to throw them a birthday party. I specially took 2 days off, and our family of 4 went to the old house a day in advance. The party was about to start, but the pre-ordered cake still hadn't arrived. Shen Qingmo wanted to drive to the store to ask, but I wouldn't let her go out. I'd rather have the maids temporarily make 2 cakes. I know the kids have been looking forward to this castle cake for a long time, and I didn't want to disappoint them. Grandpa doted on his great-granddaughters, and also told her to go quickly and come back quickly. I still disagreed. Shen Qingmo initially intended to persuade me, but seeing my trembling hands and the tension in my eyes, she softened her heart and put the keys down. It's a happy birthday, what's wrong? I don't want you to go. Then I won't go. Cheer up, okay? Only then did I slowly calm down, but still held her hand tightly, because I remember clearly that in my previous life, Shen Qingmo got into a car accident on the children's 6th birthday. In this life, although the course of events has changed, but I didn't dare to take any chances. The pain of losing a loved one, I don't want to experience it again. So this time, no matter what, I have to keep her by my side. Knowing the castle cake couldn't be delivered, the two little girls both pulled a long face, holding hands and playing on the swing in the garden, sighing heavily. At this moment, Shen Yue just arrived home. Seeing them, a gentle smile appeared on her face. Carrying the carefully prepared gift, she walked up to the two little girls. She originally intended to give them a surprise, but heard them whispering, "Why wouldn't Dad let Mom go get the cake for us? I don't know either, but if Dad doesn't allow it, Mom will definitely listen to Dad. Never mind, next year, we'll ask Mom to buy a new one. By then, we'll be a year older and the castle will definitely be prettier and bigger." Hearing these words, Shen Yui's heart skipped a beat. What cake? Seeing her, the two little girls both threw themselves into her arms, calling her sister non-stop, then told the story of the cake in their childish voices. Shen Yue nodded, gave them the gifts, and rubbed their heads. "Then you guys wait at home like good girls for a bit. We'll go help you bring the cake back." The little girls didn't agree right away, but grabbed her hands from both sides. "No need, sister," Mom said. "We'll just have a normal cake today. If Mom finds out, she'll definitely be mad." "That's right, sister. If you go now, you won't make it in time to blow out the candles with us, and there won't be enough cake then." Looking at their smart and quirky appearance, Shen Yue felt as if for a moment she saw Tu Shengyan standing in front of her. Him trailing behind her as a child, calling her sister Yue. That image was still fresh in her memory. It's a pity that nothing could ever go back. She closed her eyes, hiding the emotions deep in her eyes, then forced a smile. "It's fine, as long as you don't tell Mom. I'll go get the cake for you, but you have to remember to secretly save me a piece of the birthday cake, okay?" After the three of them made a pinky promise, Shen Yue grabbed the keys and left. Before walking out the door, as if driven by some force, she turned back for a glance and saw me leading the two kids back to the living room. I still looked the same as I did at 20, as if time had left no mark on me, but Shen Yue knew everything was different now. I no longer belonged to her. Waiting until my figure disappeared behind the door, Shen Yue sadly got in the car. The weather was gloomy today. She watched the distance gradually shrinking on the GPS, waiting at a red light. When she looked up, a car suddenly drove into the right lane. A dilapidated car parked next to her, and its window slowly rolled down. She turned her head instinctively, and after seeing that bony, emaciated face, her gaze suddenly froze. The next second, a massive collision force hit. The car windows shattered and flew everywhere. Fresh blood spurted out like a fountain. What spread even before the severe pain was endless confusion and blankness. Before losing consciousness, Shen Yue used her last bit of strength to yank the necklace off her neck. On the smashed car screen, the song kept playing softly. "I used to have you, it truly breaks my heart. I found out about Shen Yue's car accident 8 hours after the incident occurred. That night, my whole family was at the old house. The two little girls were already sound asleep, still muttering in their sleep about saving a piece of cake. We thought they still remembered the castle cake, and were discussing ordering a new one tomorrow when Shen Qingmo received a call. Her previously smiling face instantly turned solemn. She quickly put on her coat. "They said we got into a car accident. I'll go to the hospital to check the situation. Shang Yan, you stay home with the kids and Dad. Let's not make a fuss about this for now." I was also shocked by this news. I thought as long as Shen Qingmo stayed home, everything would be safe and sound. I didn't expect the one to have an accident would be Shen Yue. The date was the same, the cause of the incident was the same, and it was someone from the Shen family. All these coincidences added up. I couldn't help but wonder if this was God's will or human doing. If it was orchestrated by fate, then why did Shen Qingmo's ending fall upon Shen Yue? If it was human doing, then who held such deep hostility towards the Shen family? I thought about it all night, but still had no clues. At dawn, I received a text from Shen Qingmo. Resuscitation failed. Just 4 simple words, yet I understood the meaning behind them. I clenched my fist tight and closed my eyes. The heart that had been in a panic all night plunged into the abyss at this very moment. So many years had passed. I had long let go of the past grievances. I only considered Shen Yue as a distant relative, but after all, we had over a decade of feelings between us. Hearing the sudden news of her passing, I still felt a bit suffocated. Compared to sadness, my emotions right now felt more like dazed helplessness. Helplessness at the passing of someone from the past, and fear towards the unpredictability of fate. After the funeral ended, Shen Qingmo informed me of the investigation results. The police said it was intentional homicide, but there was currently no information about the killer. That car had no license plate. The police said it was likely stolen from a scrapyard. They were still investigating it now. From the time of the accident until the doctor announced the resuscitation failed, Yui was tightly holding onto a necklace. I don't know if the killer left it, or if it has some other meaning. Hearing this, I slightly frowned. A necklace? What necklace? Shen Qingmo took out a photo taken at the hospital and showed it to me. Just taking one look, I immediately recognized this blood-stained necklace. This was the coming-of-age gift Shen Yue gave me. The day before my wedding with Shen Qingmo, I had snatched the necklace off and returned it to her. I didn't expect that after so long she would actually still keep it. For a moment, emotions surged in my heart. Moreover, a thought kept flashing through my mind, but as for what it exactly was, I temporarily had no clue. After Shen Yue passed away, Shen Qingmo brought the kids back to the old house every week to spend more time keeping old Master Xin company. Everyone tacitly agreed to stop bringing up her name. And in the eyes of the two little girls, Shen Yue had just gone to a place very far away, not knowing when she would return. Every time Shen Qingmo bought a cake home, they would leave a piece in the fridge. Time gradually faded the sorrowful atmosphere in the house. The two little girls got more mischievous as they grew. If you weren't paying attention, they'd turn the house upside down. I had just woken up from a nap and saw the two of them being sneaky, hiding in the corner looking through something. I was about to walk over and scare them when the two ran over waving some papers. "Dad, who is a Xing?" I was stunned for a moment. Only then did I notice the things in their hands looked very familiar. They were the love letters Shen Qingmo had hidden away. Married for 7 years, the things I couldn't find even after searching the entire bedroom were actually found by the two kids. I really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I put the things away in the box and whispered a few words to them. Waiting until Shen Qingmo returned, the two little girls gleefully ran up to surround her. "Mom, who is a Xing? Why did you write so many letters to him?" Looking at the things in their hands, Shen Qingmo's eyelids twitched. She was about to take them back when she heard my coughing. I was leaning against the second-floor railing, smiling with my eyes crinkled like a sly fox. Just seeing my expression, she knew I definitely had read the letters. Those secrets hidden in her heart for over 10 years. When exposed to the light, she actually heaved a sigh of relief. The nanny took the kids outside to play. She walked to my side holding the letters. Before she even spoke, I hurriedly cleared my involvement. "Your precious daughters dug those out. It has nothing to do with me." Shen Qingmo threw herself into my arms, sniffed the faint scent of my hair, and chuckled softly. "They were originally meant for my Xing anyway. How can you say it has nothing to do with you? Playing dumb for so long, finally I get to hear a truthful word." I raised my hand to pinch her ear. "Confess honestly, since when? Why didn't you tell me when we got married?" In front of me, Shen Qingmo could only ever surrender. "I wrote the love letters when you were 17, but liking you was something from when I was 13. Do you remember that year we both caught the flu? My parents were busy with work every day, so they asked your mom to take care of me. We shared the same hospital room. My illness was mild, so I recovered quickly. You came every day to bring me medicine and candy, but because you were scared of me, you didn't dare say a word. Even when I fell asleep, you didn't dare wake me, just sitting in front of the hospital bed for an entire hour. The medicine got cold, and you also dozed off. Wait until I woke you up. The first thing you did when you woke up was grab the bowl of medicine, saying it wasn't good to drink cold medicine, and ran out to call someone to heat it back up for me. I had a cold personality, and my siblings were much older than me. Those around my age were of a different generation. Everyone was afraid of me. So since I was little, I was always alone. Only you would obediently greet me every time you saw me. During holidays, when giving gifts to Yue, you would also ask her to bring a portion for me. Although you were just being kind and polite, I remembered it for many years, and never forgot. It's just that I knew the person you liked wasn't me, and I was so much older than you, so I buried these feelings deep inside my heart. Thankfully, I finally have the chance to tell you now. So much time had passed, the things Shen Qingmo talked about. Honestly, I couldn't remember clearly anymore. Seeing her eyes shine like stars as she recalled it, I couldn't help but want to shed a tear. It turned out that while I was chasing the stars, I was also once the morning star in someone else's life. I wiped my tears on her clothes and asked, choking up, every Christmas, the Santa Claus who left gifts outside my window, "Was that all you?" "It was me." "The suit I wore on my 18th birthday, was that also you? Slipping it in with you? Wise gifts to send to me?" "You guessed that too, huh? The day I heard you wanted an arranged marriage with me, were you so happy you didn't know up from down? I couldn't even tell east from west. The winter wind was bone-chillingly cold. I stood alone on the empty rooftop, looking panicked. I didn't know why I was here, nor did I understand why in the blink of an eye, I saw the three people I least wanted to see. Chen was leading a little girl with his left hand. His right hand was stuffed into Shen Yuai's pocket. He smugly walked up to Shangyan. "Where is your precious daughter? Where is your precious daughter?" These words lingered in Shangyan's mind like a nightmare. I looked around in a panic, searching for traces of my daughter, but found nothing. Looking up again, a silver necklace flashed with a cold glint. The necklace stung my eyes. I couldn't help but close my eyes. When I opened them again, I had returned from the dream to reality. Outside the window, it was getting bright. The bedside lamp shone on the calendar. Today was December 7th. On this day in my past life, the kidnappers had abducted Shangyan's daughter and pushed her off the rooftop. And at dawn in this life, I actually dreamt of that scene. I gasped for breath, wanting to wipe the cold sweat off my forehead, but my movement woke Shen Qingmo, who was sleeping soundly beside me. She opened her eyes groggily and asked in a sleepy voice, "Did you have a nightmare?" I didn't want her to worry, so I shook my head slightly. It's a bit hot. I'm adjusting the axe. Go back to sleep. It's still early. The person beside me hummed in response and quickly fell back asleep, but I had trouble sleeping. I kept recalling the scene from my dream, but the memory vanished too fast. After dawn, all I remembered was that necklace. 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 What did it mean exactly? As I thought about it, I subconsciously touched my neck. I felt nothing. This empty feeling made me jolt in shock. I remembered something. I returned the necklace to Shen Yue because Yi Chen had his eyes on it. Yi Chen was jealous of Shangyan's life and wanted to snatch everything from me, which naturally included this necklace. Shen Yue gripping the necklace tightly before she died. Did she want to tell Shangyan that the killer was Yi Chen? Realizing this, a shiver went down my spine. Some things that had troubled Shangyan for a long time were suddenly clear. In the previous life, Yi Chen and Shen Yue were together. He wanted to become Shen Yue's husband, but there were two massive mountains blocking his path. One was Shangyan and Shen Yingmeng. The other was Shen Qingmo. One held the title of husband and father to her daughter. The other controlled the lifeline of the Shen family. So he resorted to vicious methods, creating the car accident and the kidnapping, to eliminate these two obstacles. But in this life, because Shangyan was one step ahead, the direction of the story had changed. 27-year-old Ye Chen, both parents dead, imprisoned for 6 years, his life in complete ruins. With his personality, he would definitely seek revenge after getting out of prison. Now that Shen Yue was dead, the next targets would be me, Shen Qingmo, and our kids. And today happened to be December 7th. Everything matched the previous life perfectly. It turned out this was all a conspiracy. After figuring it out, I hurriedly shook the person beside me awake and urged her to get up quickly. Shen Qingmo, who had just fallen back asleep, was dragged to the police station. The couple sought out the police officer in charge of the accident. I mentioned the necklace. The police quickly used this clue to trace Yi Chen's whereabouts. The couple stayed home watching the kids all day. At dusk, we finally received a call from the police. Mr. Shang, based on the clues you provided, we have arrested Yi Chen and his accomplices outside the kindergarten. He has confessed to his crimes. Hearing this outcome, the heavy boulder pressing on Shang Yan's heart instantly crumbled. The two innocent daughters, seeing my relaxed expression, finally dared to run into my arms and act spoiled. Dad, I'm hungry. I want to eat sweet and sour ribs. Don't make ribs for little sister. She lost a tooth yesterday and can't eat them. Can we have shrimp? It's like this every day. All you know is eating. A flash of helplessness crossed my eyes. I reached out to touch Shen Qingmo and motioned towards the kitchen. The kids are hungry. Shouldn't you take the initiative to go? Shen Qingmo consciously stood up, but as she took a step, the two kids pulled her back. If Mom is cooking, then let's go out to eat. Getting Aunt Wang to do it is fine too. I'm not eating Mom's cooking. It's way too salty. The whole family's laughter gradually faded into the distance as the lights turned on one by one. Tonight, the green mountains are distant and the clouds drift leisurely. It is truly a beautiful moment in this world.